Welcome to Dose with Grace. I hope you're doing well and taking good care of yourself. My name is Aarti, and let's start this sharing by first chanting two very powerful, blissful, and energetic Mahamantras together. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you for joining back again, and you're watching Dose with Grace. Please do share, like, and subscribe to this channel so that I can keep bringing some heartfelt and some experiential sharings in the form of these videos to you. And I do appreciate your comments, so please do write in the comments your feedback or anything that you would like to share about maybe next type of sharings that I should put, or your feedback from the sharings that I've already posted on my channel. So let's come to today's sharing. Let's talk about something which is one of the most commonly used words, but one of the most elusive things for us, not just today, but in all times to come. Contentment. Yes, we do say contentment is the key. And rightly so. Contentment is the key to all the worldly wisdom. Contentment is the key to live a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. Contentment is the key to have all the possible joys in balance and to achieve self-actualization in this world. Wow, is that all contentment can give us? Then why are we running after success, ambition, money, fame? Why aren't we running towards contentment? Well, that is what it is. Contentment is not something we can run towards. Contentment is our true nature. Contentment is what is there in us when all of these other things, chasing, running, acquiring, consuming, competing, comparing, all comes to its peak, and then we realize all of this truly had no meaning. There are many quotes by many people who have been famous, who have been rich, who have been extremely successful, popular, and one of those quoted, "I wish that everyone can achieve everything in life to know that is not the answer." Well, it doesn't mean we shouldn't do our part. We shouldn't do our karma according to our dharma. Of course we should. However, contentment is not something that prevents us from achieving our goals, or from being ambitious, or from doing our karmas, our duties, or taking our responsibilities into perspective and taking our daily roles seriously and very efficiently performing them with a lot of enthusiasm, dedication, and great sense of fulfillment of having done our best. Contentment is rather that space in which all of these wonderful virtues sprout. It is that foundation on which we build whatever we build in our life. Whether it is fame, whether it is success, whether it is a lot of assets, but it comes from the very basis of contentment, and I therefore call contentment as the key. So let's see, what is contentment? Contentment, as I understand it from my experience, is a sense of well being, a sense of limitless sense of connection, love, care, and understanding of self, the preferences, the taste, the likings, and the awareness of self, and to an extent that it extends beyond ourselves. There are few very beautiful lines I would like to read for you that I felt resonated a lot with me. The unlimited, the unconditional friendliness towards self that naturally radiates out to the others. That, I feel, is a wonderful way to sum up contentment. You must be wondering, in this world of competitiveness, in this world of one-upmanship, why am I bringing such a redundant topic like contentment? Why do we need contentment? Because I have felt, I have experienced at many times in my own life, and as I've progressed in my life, I've seen around me my friends, the people that I've interacted with, the people that I have had conversations with, and so many references around us, the people that I observe, the people that I look up to but have come to realize through their stories what they have to say. All of this has given me a very beautiful learning that behind a very stable friendliness towards self, a sense of well-being, is the sense of contentment. You know, today in this trend of what is happening around us, when someone tells us this is the trend of a certain diet, this is the trend of health, this is the trend of clothes, this is the trend of food, and we start following it and we start consuming all that information and then start comparing ourselves with others and maybe finally start competing in terms of consuming that without knowing whether it is our taste, whether it is our preference. It creates a lot of inner conflict and therefore a lot of agony, and over a period of time it creates a lot of turmoil inside, which manifests either in the form of stress, dis-ease, or some kind of a bodily trauma. It's unfortunate, but as we go layer by layer behind, somewhere it is deep inside that we have forgotten the value of contentment in our lives. Now, how to find that contentment, how to be in that state of contentment is very easy to follow. And generally they say the most simplest things are the most difficult because they are so simple. And we are always running after something that is complex, unachievable, because that gives us that sense of adrenaline rush that before everyone, I did it. Or something that was unachievable to everyone, I achieved it. However, contentment is the journey to contentment, or the journey to discovering the contentment within, is just the opposite. Is to layer by layer unpeel the unwanted, the undesired, the unrequired, layer by layer, and to find the self within. So here are a few things I had penned down today morning, and I'd like to share with you I hope you find them useful too. How we can make friends with ourselves. Making friends with oneself. And how to find the direct experience with oneself. Well, this is coming only out of my experiences in the form of the things that I do for myself, and therefore you can add your own to it, you can add your twist to it, because each one person is unique, and therefore I hope these are just a simple sharing for you to see as guidelines and make them your own in your own way, by adding your own flavor to it or adding your own specifics to it. So, how to make friends with one's own self? 1. We don't need to protect anything about ourselves. When we know ourselves very well, when we know ourselves fully, there is nothing to protect. And once there is nothing to protect, there is nothing to protect in our thoughts. There is nothing to protect in our emotions. There is no need to feel scared to keep protecting our thoughts or our emotions. And that helps us not to build an ego. Remember, in the last video we discussed about ego and how to evolve from the very unhealthy ego state to a healthy ego state, because some amount of ego is definitely necessary for us to function in this world. But to sustain that healthy state of ego is to be more connected to one's own self and know that our thoughts and our emotions are pure, and therefore they don't need to be protected, especially when we are with others. So no putting up any false thoughts or false emotions in front of others helps us keeping our ego in check and keeping us in a healthy state of ego. Knowing that we are not in rush, there is really no hurry in life. Trusting our speed. If there will be too much rush, then there will be a backlash. Now just imagine a simple example. If I'm trying to speak something and I know that my thoughts are very clear, I'm very aware about what emotions I want to convey through my words, and I know that it would take a certain time for me to bring it out, and I'm using that time. I'm allowing myself that time, and I'm treasuring myself giving that experience to the other person. Whereas in the other situation, if I know what my thoughts are and my emotions are, but I am in a rush to just throw them out, it won't be coming across as probably genuine, and there would be some kind of a misunderstanding that can be created. Either I can come across as someone arrogant, or I can come across as someone who doesn't care if I leave it halfway. So I may just feel that I am not being understood. So if there is too much of rush, there is a backlash. And when there is a backlash, you won't stay. You will just go. So taking your time, giving yourself that time of how much it needs, and having that sense of judgment that comes from within only, is probably another tool which we can apply on our day-to-day life. I do apply it. I take my time for things, and I generally do not rush myself, especially when I see someone else being rushed. It's a great reminder to try to put the other person at ease as well, for them to take their time. because there is no rush. Evolving at our own speed, that creates a sense of genuineness. Because if you really look at nature around us, when I go for my morning walk, I observed there was a plant. It had a leaf which was almost like blooming, and it was in a shape that it was fully curled up on day one, as I saw it, and it was a long leaf, but it was all curled up, and it looked like a thin stem. And I think on the day 3, it just started unfolding, and it started looking like a leaf, huge leaf, with a lot of patterns on it. Now imagine if someone would have altered that unfolding process on day 2 or day 1, maybe the leaf would have got damaged. Maybe the leaf could have just got torn. For sure, the leaf wouldn't have unfolded the way it unfolded on its own. And actually, today is the day 5, and now I can see slowly the whole leaf has fully opened up, and it has a very feathery and a very beautiful shape. Even its own other plant members, so to say, didn't hurry it up. So nature is a great example to teach us that everything grows at its own pace, and that's why it has that genuineness to it. So just watch how you evolve and make you more based on how it's happening rather than the ideas and concepts that you measure up to. We hear it all the time as we are growing up. Do this because your uncle's daughter also does it. Do this because when I was 17, I could do this too. So more or less because we humans have this vocabulary, we have words to speak. Instead of using them, we abuse them a lot. And by putting that concepts and ideas around natural unfolding of behavior or personality, so therefore this also can create over a period of time, unknowingly, this can create a lot of discontentment within a person, and we start shaping our thoughts, our ideas, even our direction of life based on the ideas and concepts that we have to keep measuring up to. So one way to not get into that zone is to take your time, just watch how you evolve, and stay in your own genuine pace. Now, fear, another big factor that influences our state of contentment, is fear around us. There is fear of all kinds: fear of success, fear of not being successful, fear of not being as as smart or as popular or as rich or as settled or as successful, let's put it in a simple word, than whoever we think is judging us on around in comparison to the people around us, maybe the people of our own age group, or the people of our own clan, the people of our own community. So this sense of fear, there are so many other types of fear people can have, but fear is a part of life, definitely a part of growth, and definitely a part of shedding old crippling pattern of being. But which patterns? The patterns that we have become addicted to, or the patterns which are not fulfilling? Place the fearful mind in the cradle of loving kindness, of mindful thinking and mindful caring thoughts. So the thoughts that we give to ourselves, which is in nowadays a very popular term called affirmations, are the best antidote to this kind of comparisons and this kind of fear that our mind is mostly equipped with. That is why even to children we recommend saying certain positive things to themselves every morning, and even to parents to fill up the bucket of love for your children, because they know what all the children are going through when they go to school, when they go and to compete around, and or when they go out in society. To understand this whole concept of being a part of whole is equally important to feel and grow or discover the inner contentment that we can always go back to whenever there is a turmoil or conflict on the outside. For example, if someone says something disturbing to us, how we can connect back to that state of contentment within is by knowing that we don't evolve alone. It doesn't happen in isolation. So, for example, people who do meditate, people who do their prayers in the morning, or people who have a very healthy routine of, say, exercise or a walk or a yoga, probably after their morning rituals, they feel absolutely peaceful. And then they see the world, and then they interact with the world, and something nasty happens around them, and immediately their peace of mind is gone. So the whole idea of being in state of contentment is not when we are sitting in an isolation, but when we are right in the middle of our karam bhumi, the place where we have to be. For example, I'm a mother, I'm a homemaker. For me, my karam bhumi is my home, the society where I live in, and the people around me who I see every day. My children, my husband, and the people of community that I interact with due to my presence in the same area. So, as we interact with them, keeping the things in mind that we just discussed while we are interacting with them is what keeps that state over a period of time through practice much more refined. To aspire to be around people, to connect with them on a real level, no matter how less or how frequent it is. But if the connections are real, they don't have to be very fancy, or they don't have to be even very frequent. But contentment comes from the quality of connection that we form by knowing who we truly are, by not always guarding our emotions and our thoughts when we are with others, by taking our time, and by also letting others take their time to grow with us. Now, another very important point I would like to bring here is that whenever there is any form of suffering, whether it is physical, whether it is emotional, or if it is spiritual, I'm saying body, mind, and soul. So physical, emotional, or spiritual, its cause is ignorance. If there is a suffering, the root cause of that suffering is ignorance, and just opposite to that is happiness, and happiness is what? Dissolving of this ignorance. So let's take a very simple example. If there is a disease in the body, and that disease has come, and now we are suffering because of that disease, mostly it has come when we go and the right way to deal with it is to go and investigate through an expert, which is a doctor. We would go and seek some basic tests, and then If we are not satisfied, we go to some more intensive tests and we come to know the diagnosis, the root cause of it. And once we know that and we act upon things to cure it, the ignorance is the removal of the ignorance that happens with it is what cures the disease. And same is for emotional. We may be in an emotional turmoil, we may be sad, we may be dissatisfied, we may be upset or frustrated, and that is probably because of our ignorance towards whatever is bothering us. To get more information, probably sometimes a remedy is to get more information, some more knowledge. Sometimes the remedy is to not give too much importance to the issue and understand it as, see it from a little more detached perspective and see it holistically, and then we see that ignorance is blown away. Mostly in the spiritual sufferings, generally seeking the knowledge from our scriptures, practicing self inner realization, and spending time in nature is what makes the ignorance of spiritual sufferings go away. So this is a very, very enriching sort of learnings that I personally use in my life, which I wanted to share with you. I hope they will be useful to you. And on this day, a very special day and a very important day to me, I wanted to share this very, very simple yet very precious nuggets of my experiential learnings with you all, to stay contented. Like they say in Hindi, किसी और के बताने से पहले अपने स्वाद को जानो और अपने स्वाद के अनुसार जो पसंद है उसे चखो आराम से, प्यार से, और उसका आनंद पाओ. Before I end, I would like to share one very, very beautiful teaching my son shared with me yesterday. And I'm sharing this because we are humans, we are meant to make mistakes, and it is perfectly normal. And how to make it feel normal, how to make it feel perfectly all right, and use mistakes as our stepping stones. This particular one line sharing hopefully will help you to reflect upon, and maybe you can also use it whenever you see your children, you see your friends making mistakes. So this is what my son shared. Mistakes are expected, accepted, inspected, and corrected. Let me repeat it for you. Mistakes are expected, accepted, inspected, and corrected. With that, let's chant these two powerful Mahamantras again. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.